Hey everyone, it's Colin, Mile High Modern, checking in mid-September to chat a little bit about the real estate market, Denver, Boulder, what's going on. Naturally, if you're following the news or reading any sorts of headlines, you're hearing that markets are cooling, prices are pulling back. Uh, nat- Really, this time of year, it's very important to acknowledge that there is always seasonality. So we see every single year an expansion phase with pricing, then a retraction phase, and a stabilization phase. What we're looking out for this year is to see if prices stabilize into the fourth quarter or if they continue to retract, and where that really what that means for where the market's headed in 2023. So to break it down, of course, in a month to month kind of analysis, we have average days on market are increasing. The percentage of list price to sold price is decreasing. That usually has been around 100% or plus in this extreme sellers market that we are definitely putting in the rear view mirror right now. And buyer favor is starting to become more prolific in the market, and we're seeing more negotiation. Interestingly enough, 50% of homes, and this is in the Denver metro, 50% of homes sold in August saw either a price reduction, a concession, or a combination therein of both. So it's important to realize that there's two major factors at play here. The seasonality, but that's compounding the actual market slowing because of interest rates rising mostly, and then also inventory actually starting to catch up to demand. Those factors are compounding to make a more pronounced slowdown here in the last part of the third quarter into the fourth. What I'm looking out for on my side is, of course, are we going to stabilize in the fourth quarter for pricing? Are we going to continue retracting? And then what does that mean for the spring? Springtime, everybody gets out. They want to put deals together. That's when we see the most listings. That's when we see the most buyers out. So will we see still another year of appreciation? I do think we're going to see another year of appreciation. I don't think it's going to be double digits, and I believe it's going to be more in line with a 6 to 8% year over year appreciation. Now, worth mentioning, we're still appreciating. If you look year over year numbers from last August to this August, great appreciation numbers from both the Denver metro and Boulder homes markets. So with this retraction, we're still talking about year over year gains. And if you keep in mind the gains that we've been making over the last 2 years, sellers are sitting on record amounts of equity. So the factors at play that are currently a little bit more emotional or less easily measured would be sellers sitting on this record amount of equity, and also sellers with generally mostly the lowest interest rates ever on history if they have a finance loan on their property. Most people refinanced in the last 2 years. They're around the threes, high twos, the low threes. And so the motivation to sell has to be there. There has to be a major life event. They want to move up, they want to downsize, they've got a new job, et cetera, which makes the buy side a little bit more nuanced. I don't want to say challenging, but it is more of a deal to deal analysis. And when I say that, I mean, we're absolutely kind of in a buyer's market within a seller's market. So you're going to run across listings that still get multiple offers, that still go over list price by 5, even 10%. That's happening. You're also going to run across properties where if you offer or you're trying to negotiate early on, they may reject your offer, dig their heels in, and see if they can get something better. Now, this is because record equity, and they're sitting on low interest rates. So the motivation to sell is somewhat diminished in some deals that I've been working on, and it's creating an interesting negotiating environment for buyers. However, to the buyer favor, of course, is when we're able to go in and negotiate or just capture list price or come across a great property that's listed appropriately and get it under contract for list price and have a smooth transaction. That's what we always hope for. But if you're able to negotiate, one item that's really holding a lot of buyers back is interest rates. And if you're able to negotiate, this means you may be able to get concessions. If you're able to get seller concessions, this may allow you to have a permanent rate buy down or have a 2-in-1 rate buy down, which is 2% off prime rate first year, 1% off prime rate second year. This makes purchasing a lot more palatable. It puts you in a place where you have interest rates that were similar to what we had in early of 2022, and an option for those of you that have been kind of wondering, hey, where do I go from here? I still want to buy a house. Interest rates are becoming somewhat punitive. These are things that we're moving around for our clients to make sure that people aren't sitting on the sidelines during this buyer opportune period that we are in. Seasonality dictates that this is generally a good time to be out as a buyer. The fact that we have more inventory than we have had in the last 2 years at this time of year dictates that it's a good time to be out as a buyer, just with selection considered. All said, still some seller favor in the market, so it's nuanced. There's a lot of interesting things going on. I'm here to support with any questions, comments, concerns that you may have on your specific journey. And I assure you, one thing that I will always recommend is if you're thinking about making a real estate move, entertaining a transaction in the next 6 to 18 months, it's time to have a conversation and kind of structure that in the best way possible for your goals, because the market is dynamic, it's always evolving, and you need to be able to be very nimble with how you approach it. Here to make that happen, always glad to chat with you, and hope you take care. Talk to you next month. Ciao.